Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today we are going to see this chapter from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 11. Chapter 11 is the passing of Haridas Thakur. We are reading this verse 29. स्वतंत्र ईश्वरा तुम्ही हावो इच्छा मया जगत नाचावो यारे चे इच्छा हया स्वतंत्र ईश्वरा तुम्ही हावो इच्छा मया जगत नाचावो यारे चे इच्छा हया स्वतंत्र ईश्वरा तुम्ही हावो इच्छा मया जगत नाचावो यारे चे इच्छा हया. Anyone would like to repeat?
Mataji, may I?
Yes, please.
Swatantra Ishvara tumi ho ichamay jagat nachao yare yeche ichha hai.
Jai. Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I pronounce?
Jai. Gauranga, Ismataji.
Swatantra Ishwara tumi hayo ichha maya jagat nacho yare yaicha ichha haya.
Thank you, Mataji. One more devotee, please.
स्वतंत्र ईश्वर तुम्ही है इच्छा माया जगत नाचाया रे ऐची इच्छा हया.
Thank you, Aruna Mataji. Jai. Haribol. Okay, translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My dear Lord, you are the fully independent personality of Godhead. You act by your own free will. You cause the whole world to dance and act as you like. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamam Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sonyavari Pashyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्द की जय. श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. Okay, so this is a very, what I can say, a very heart-touching chapter in Antya Leela. In fact, to hear the glories of Haridas Thakur, to speak about him, to read about him, is a great blessing. And just by doing so, one can get unlimited blessings from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we can understand after hearing this beautiful pastime. We can understand how dear is Srila Haridas Thakur and how Mahaprabhu exhibited his love for him through this pastime. We can understand. So glorifying the acharyas, hearing their glories, or celebrating the appearance, disappearance festivals of these great acharyas, one actually gets abundance of blessings. So, and also Falashruti is generally given at the end, but I like to say this Falashruti in the beginning so that we can actually become more absorbed in remembering Srila Haridas Thakur while we are hearing this pastime. The Falashruti given by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami at the end of this chapter is that he says, which is very much required for all of us as a sadhakas, as a practitioners. So he says that Eta kahilun Haridasera Vijaya Yahara Shavana Krishna Drida Bhakti Haya. What is that Falashruti? Anyone who hears this victorious passing away of Haridas Thakur will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. I will repeat. Anyone who hears this victorious passing away of Haridas Thakur will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. So as practitioners, we all find it very hard to be steady in our practice. Whether it is chanting, whether it is hearing, whether performing any devotional service. Our practice of devotional service is like a roller coaster. It goes up and it goes down. Sometimes you are very blissful, sometimes we become very morose in performing even our devotional practice. So it is like thick and thin. So a lot of unsteadiness we can see in our practice. So this chapter, just hearing this, the benediction, what we are getting is that by hearing this chapter, one actually gets this benediction that one will be able to fix his mind firmly steadily in the devotional service of the Lord. The steadiness is a very important quality or a character for, required for a sadhaka, for a practitioner. Because if only when someone is steady, they can actually progress forward to achieve the goal of life. Even in material world, we see that steadiness is a very important character. If a child, wants to become, achieve something, wonderful results, then one has to, be very steady in, in obtaining some fixed number of marks, then they will be able to get it. Now, we know people going for 11 plus and many things, they have many mock exams and many things to see that how much progress has been made. But someone who is doing it steadily has a great chance to achieve the result what they actually desire. Similarly, for a spiritual practitioner also, we have great desires, to achieve in our spiritual life. So for that to achieve, steadiness is very important. And we see that many times this question has been asked, how to balance things, how to, be very steady, how I actually can become determined. This is a constant question we hear. It's a frequently asked questions. So for this, this hearing of Haridas Thakur's pastime gives such a great strength. And a lot of life practical lessons, how we can also become steady in our practice, and also this benediction from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So I like to put these things in the beginning so that we become more absorbed and attentive in hearing about this wonderful pastime. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in this 11th chapter, nearly 19 verses, the first, or we can say nearly around 10 verses, he glorifies Mahaprabhu and all his associates. And in the very beginning, he's offering his obeisances to Haridas Thakur and to the master of Haridas Thakur, that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and to all the associates, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and everyone. And finally, he says that I'm writing this narration of the pastimes and attributes of the Lord only by the mercy of the Lord and his associates. I do not have any capacity. I cannot write properly. But I am writing this to purify myself. I'm writing this to purify myself. So very humbly, Haridas Thakur, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning that how only by the mercy he is able to do it. Then we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now Jagannath Puri, as we know. And in Jagannath Puri is performing wonderful pastimes along with associates. So in the daytime, Mahaprabhu would chant, dance, and then, he would take prasadam along with his associates. And in the night time, along with the two very intimate associates of Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy, Mahaprabhu would hear the the highest, mellows of the devotional mellows of conjugal love, the rasa tattva, he would hear from the confidential pastimes, he would hear from Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy. And it's mentioned that day by day, those, emotions, the Bhava Bhakti, the Prema Bhakti, those symptoms, Mahaprabhu is exhibiting more and more the feelings of separation. And these two confidential devotees could witness, all this amazing and wonderful, ecstasies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now one day, Govinda, as we all know, Govinda is the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, we saw, last week, I think, yeah, we saw that how Govinda's, mood, that he crossed the Lord to serve, even though it is not the proper etiquette, but whereas to honor prasadam or for his own bodily needs, he didn't want to break that etiquette. So such is the glory of Govinda. So Govinda, one day, he very jubilantly went to Haridas Thakur's cottage. And he wanted to give the prasadam, because every day the Mahaprasadam of Jagannath was brought to Haridas Thakur. So when Govinda came to see Haridas Thakur was lying on the bed, on his back, and he was slowly chanting his rounds. So Haridas Thakur, Govinda said, "Oh, please, Haridas Thakur, kindly rise and take the Mahaprasad." So then Haridas Thakur said, "No, today I am going to fast. I have not completed my prescribed number of rounds. So I would request devotees this to be a bit interactive also, so that we can actually relish this pastime. So can anyone put here what is the regular number of rounds Haridas Thakur chanted? Please use the chat box. What is the regular number of rounds Haridas Thakur chanted?" So he's telling to Govinda, "I will be fasting today because 3 lakh names, 300,000, yes, 192 rounds, yes, correct. So both are correct. So 300,000 names of Hare Krishna mantra, times of Hare Krishna mantra, which is 192 rounds." So here Haridas Thakur is telling, "I could not complete, I am struggling to complete my 192 rounds. So I have not finished it today. So I am going to fast." Then he says, "But you have brought the Mahaprasadam. How do I ignore it?" And then immediately he offers prayers to the Mahaprasadam. And then he honors a small portion of it. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Mahaprasadam is a favor of the Lord, a mercy of the Lord. Mahaprasadam is non-different from Krishna. That is why we don't say eating prasadam. Prabhupada would correct, not eating prasadam, it is honoring prasadam. That is why we have the prasadam honoring prayer, right? Whether someone learns the Mangalarti prayers or Narasimha prayers or evening Sandhya Arati prayers or any other prayers, this prayer everyone remembers. Very jubilantly we all remember this prayer. What is that prayer? Mahaprasade Govinda. The moment the Mahaprasad Govinda prayer is sung, everyone's is eagerly awaiting for the prasadam. So this Mahaprasadam, is not different from Krishna. That is why Srila Prabhupada has given this wonderful prayer to chant before we honor prasadam. And the first 4 lines we see, that is actually from Skanda Purana. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Svalpa Punya Vatam Rajan Vishvashonai Vajayate. What is the meaning? Swalpa Punya Vatam. Swalpa Punya Vatam Rajan. So, O King, Swalpa Punya, one who has not done enough pious activities, who has no enough punya, that person will not have faith. Vishwash. Vishwash means faith. That person will not have faith. Faith in what? Faith in Mahaprasad. He will not have faith in Mahaprasad. He will not faith in Govinda, the Supreme Lord. Nama, he will not have faith in holy name. Vaishnavas, so then Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, he will not have faith in Vaishnavas. So if someone has not got enough pious credits or punya, then that person will not have faith in Mahaprasadam, the Supreme Lord Govinda, the holy name, and the Vaishnavas. So this is the words of Skanda Purana. So this Mahaprasadam, to get even a morsel of Mahaprasadam, one should be very blessed. So that is why the second two paragraphs, you see the actual prayer, Sharirara Vidyajal Jodindriyeta Hekal, you know that if we read that whole thing, the essence is that the senses are voracious, difficult to control. I mean, the senses are very difficult to control. All the senses. The eyes want to see something wonderful, ears want to hear something wonderful, the nose want to smell something, the sense of touch wants to touch something which gives enjoyment. The tongue wants to eat something palatable and also want to speak something which is very pleasing. So basically all the senses are pulling us in all directions. So very difficult to control. And it's entangling us in this material world. And out of all the senses, the most difficult and voracious to control is the tongue. And the tongue is doing two activities. One is speaking and one is tasting. The urge to speak, the urge to taste. And both are very difficult urges to give up. Many times we see that we say something and then later we repent. Why did we say that? Because in that moment, the words comes out. So that urge to speak is so difficult to control. We have the experience. And the taste, very difficult to control. So sometimes, it could be that someone has to follow some diet, but a very delicious prasadam is in front. It is very difficult to control. So the sense of taste, the sense of taste is very difficult to control. And that's why they said that, oh, my dear Lord, just to control our senses, you have kindly given us this prasadam. Because Krishna takes the foodstuffs and then gives out its remnants as prasadam. So just by eating it, what happens? Our tongue gets satisfied. Not only our tongue gets satisfied, the tongue gets purified also. And it helps us to progress spiritually. That is the great mercy of prasadam. That is why it's very important before we honor prasadam, we say this honoring prayer. Many times what happens is just the honoring prayer, we rush the honoring prayer mechanically or mentally. We say something, maybe the words are not even right, or we don't even have the idea what we are actually saying, or even don't remember. Sometimes, the prasadam is in front, forget the prasadam prayer, straight into, eating the prasadam. But how important this acharyas have given us all these prayers, to take a moment to be very grateful to the Lord, or also to understand how merciful you are, my dear Lord. You have given us prasadam to control the surge of tasting and speaking. You have given this wonderful prasadam. And so in that mood, if one is able to constantly do it, we say that we are able to appreciate, value the prasadam given by the Lord. Otherwise, sometimes prasadam is seen as a normal food. It's just for taste and for this. So that's why it's very important, the honoring prayer. And we see here, Haridas Thakur is an eternal associate of the Lord. And just because, even though he wants to fast, because he feels that he has not completed his number of rounds, so he is not qualified to eat. But yet, he cannot disobey the Lord's Mahaprasad. So he's offering pranams, he's offering prayers, and then he's partaking this prasadam. What a wonderful lesson. How the Acharya are showing by their own example, the pure devotees. So it's very, very important that the prasadam is honored properly in that spirit. And then what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went the next day. Mahaprabhu went, to Haridas Thakur's cottage. And then he asked Haridas Thakur, how are you doing? Are you well? So then for that, Haridas Thakur replies, my dear Lord, my body is well, but my mind and intelligence are not well. So then Mahaprabhu says, so what is the disease you have got? Are you able to ascertain what is your disease? And then for that, Haridas Thakur is saying, I'm not able to complete my rounds. That is the disease. Just imagine what is the answer given by Haridas Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada writes, if someone is not able to complete the prescribed number of rounds, everyone has got some fixed number of rounds to chant. And especially, there are many people who have chanted, Prabhupada given the minimum of 16 rounds. So those who already have taken that as their minimum rounds, and if they are not able to, we are not able to chant and complete our rounds that particular day, then that is considered as a diseased condition in spiritual life. And even if someone has taken lesser number of rounds, whatever number of rounds as a fixed number, and when we are falling short of it and we are not able to complete it on that particular day, that is considered as we are in diseased condition of spiritual life. That means there is a problem there now. So this is so that is the way Haridas Thakur saw that. And then Mahaprabhu is answering, you are old, so you reduce the number of rounds. In fact, you are a liberated person. You are in my eternal associate. So a liberated devotee don't have to, keep fixed number of rounds. They don't have to follow the regulative principles. So he's saying that you're already a liberated personality. So you do not have to chant the prescribed number of rounds. And you have incarnated in this world to preach the glories of the holy name, and you have already done it. You have sufficiently done your seva. So please, you reduce your chanting. The Lord is telling you reduce your chanting. So regulative principles are for those people who don't have spontaneous love for Krishna, like sadhakas like us. There are pure devotees. There are two kinds of devotees. One is these devotees who have spontaneous love for Krishna, and the other set of devotees are who follow the sadhana so that one day they get purified and develop the spontaneous love. So one is the sadhana bhakti, and then other one is raganuga bhakti. So raganuga bhakti means naturally loving Krishna, like the gopis. Gopis don't have to remember, oh, today I have to chant my whatever number of rounds. Oh, today I have to remember Krishna, I have to do Mangalarti. Oh, today prasadam I have to take, then I can remember Krishna. No, they don't have to, because it is spontaneous. The pure devotees don't have to follow these numbers and all. But whereas the sadhaka, the practitioners like us, we need to follow the rules, so that the rules helps us to purify ourselves, purify our consciousness, and elevate our consciousness. That is why the numbers are important. Just like the doctor gives medicine, take 2 tablets, take 500 mg, take, this thing. So they give a particular dose, so that when someone takes the dose, the disease gets cured. Similarly, we are also in a materially diseased condition, spiritually diseased condition. So what happens is that we also need a dose, this many number of rounds. Do this many, do follow these kinds of regulative principles. Follow 4 regulative principles. Then, do this many artis, do this, do that. This do's and don'ts helps us, this dosage helps us to come out of this, diseased condition. So it's very important to follow. But we see that even the pure devotees have followed it. Haridas Thakur don't have to follow, because he's already pure devotee, but he has followed it. The 6 Goswamis, they followed, they actually counted, they counted, the Hare Krishna mantra, chanting in their fingers. So we see that when the pure devotees are counting, even Mahaprabhu would count the chanting in his fingers, so it is important that as sadhakas, we should be actually following those counts and follow those rules and regulations. So it is very, very important. Of all the rules, the most important regulative principle. There are many regulative principles given in our spiritual life to follow and to progress and to develop the spontaneous love. The foremost of all the regulative principles, mentioned here is that one has to chant the Hare Krishna mantra fixed number of rounds, and that too how loudly, so that one can hear the chanting. So two things important. One should be chanting fixed number of rounds, and the fixed number of rounds should be chanted loudly for one's own self to hear. We have to hear the holy name. It is not just a number count, but one is hearing the holy name. So this is the foremost of all the regulative principles. And it is said that Haridas Thakur don't have to do, because he's also, as an eternal associate. Nama Acharya, Mahaprabhu gave him this glorious position as a Nama Acharya. Nama Acharya means the Acharya of the holy name, the teacher of the holy name, who has not only chanted and perfected his life, but he is qualified, to share it with the whole world. That's why it's Achar and Prachar. One who follows it and preaches it. So, such an example is Haridas Thakur when it comes to the holy name. That's why he's called Nama Acharya. He himself chanted 192 rounds. And just by his presence, everyone gets, inspired to chant. And we know this wonderful example, which we discussed earlier. I'm not going into the detail because this pastime itself is so elaborate. We saw that how even he made a prostitute who came with a bad motive, to pollute him. But just by hearing Haridas Thakur's chanting, she got completely transformed, and she became a pure devotee. So she became a disciple of Haridas Thakur. That is the power of Haridas Thakur. Just by his mere presence, Uttama Bhakta, Bhagavat Uttama, just by their mere presence, one can actually induce someone to chant the holy name. They don't have to even say to someone, you have to chant. But their presence, the purity is the force. It actually induces or inspires the others to chant the holy name. So then Haridas Thakur is telling to Mahaprabhu that, and who is this Haridas Thakur? He is none other than Lord Brahma himself. We know that, there is a pastime, the Brahma Vimohana Leela, where Brahmaji got bewildered seeing Krishna eating from the tiffin box of his friends, the juta, the contaminated food. Generally, we say contaminated food is someone's food we eat, but Krishna is taking this remnants from his friends and eating it. And when Lord Brahma saw that, is this Supreme Lord? He got bewildered. And we know the story how he actually kidnapped all these boys and the calves. And then Krishna showed, how he expanded as the so many number of, cowherd boys and also the calves, and gave pleasure to all the residents of Vrindavan. And then Brahma later realized his mistake and he asked forgiveness from the Lord. And then later Brahmaji asked, that, in my next, when you are descending into this material world for your pastime, I would also like to assist you, but in a very humble mood, because I was so puffed up. So to smash my pride, please allow me to take a humble role, in your pastime. So in that way, we see that in Chaitanya Leela, he begged Mahaprabhu, I want to be part of your Leela, my dear Lord. But, I want to take this humble role. So he took the role of Haridas Thakur. Mahaprabhu said, okay, you will be born in a Mlecha, Yavana family, in a family where, they eat, the meat eaters family. You will be born, and then one feels that, like I'm condemned, I'm doing all kinds of heinous things. And then in that way, you will be always humble. So he takes birth in such a family, and then glorified as Haridas Thakur. So Brahmaji comes, in Chaitanya Leela as Haridas Thakur. So he do not have to count and chant, but yet he had the taste for the holy name. So Haridas Thakur is now telling to the Lord, I am so abominable. and I am to be condemned. I'm fully sinful, born in a very sinful family. Oh, my dear Lord, but you're so merciful, that you're always, giving me an elevated position. But you are an independent Lord. And then he says that I know now you're going to wind up your pastimes. But before you wind up your pastimes, I want to leave this world. I don't want to see when you have already left and I'm still alive. I don't want to see that. My dear Lord, please finish. I don't want to see that chapter of your pastime. So my request, my humble request to you is that please give me your mercy so that I can, take your lotus feet into my heart and I can see your beautiful moonlight face and call out your sweet name, Krishna Chaitanya, and leave my body. This was the request of Haridas Thakur. So when Haridas Thakur requested in this way, Mahaprabhu said that Krishna is very merciful. He fulfills the desires of his devotees. But my dear Haridas Thakur, I derive great pleasure in your association. So please do not leave me. So Father Haridas Thakur is saying that, my dear Lord, please do not, put me in illusion. You have so many millions of wonderful devotees you have got. I'm just like an insignificant insect. If an insignificant ant dies, what is the loss for this material world? You have so many wonderful devotees to assist you in your mission. So he's saying that you are very affectionate to me and you are affectionate to your devotees. I am an imitation devotee. So my dear Lord, so please fulfill my desire. So in that way, Haridas Thakur was begging with such humility. He's a Nama Acharya, chanting 192 rounds. The Lord himself comes and gives him Mahaprasad. The Lord loves his association. And he says, I'm an insignificant ant, and what is the loss if I leave this world? This is the character of a pure devotee. Pride and envy never gets into the heart of a pure devotee, even for a fraction of second. Even for a fraction of second, pride and envy never enters their heart. And because of that humble nature, the Lord himself gets melted. This is a wonderful characteristics of Haridas Thakur. So, when Haridas Thakur spoke in that way, the next day, Mahaprabhu came again. He came and to see Haridas Thakur, and then he said, Haridas Thakur, what is the news? And Haridas Thakur is telling, my dear Lord, whatever mercy you can bestow upon me. See, they have, he's asking for a request, but yet he's giving the Lord, it is your mercy. I can only beg you. But you are the independent Lord. You can take any choice. You can take any, anything you can bestow upon me. You can fulfill my desire. You may not fulfill my desire also. But I am begging you this. This is the position of the pure devotees. They never force the Lord. Generally, in this, in the mode of a sadhaka, we desperately sometimes ask the Lord this and that. That's a mode of a sadhaka. But the pure devotees are beyond, imagination. That they never actually force the Lord. They know that the Lord is independent and he can take any decision and they are very happy with it. Just like, says unconditional. You can embrace me or make me broken-hearted. But you are my Supreme Lord unconditionally. You are my master unconditionally. So that is the mood of the pure devotees. And then Mahaprabhu organized a Maha Sankirtan. He called all his associates. And Bakreshwar Pandit, who is a great dancer, he is dancing. And there is a big Harinam Sankirtan going around Haridas Thakur, surrounding Haridas Thakur. And Mahaprabhu is glorifying Haridas Thakur as if he has got hundreds and thousands of mouths. And hearing that, all the devotees were greatly stunned, because Mahaprabhu himself, the Supreme Lord, glorifying and glorifying and glorifying continuously, Haridas Thakur. And they were stunned and melted. And then everyone fell flat at the feet of Haridas Thakur and offered their obeisances. And now Haridas Thakur requested Mahaprabhu to come in front of him. And then he looked at the beautiful moonlight face of Mahaprabhu, and he's drinking the nectar of the beauty of Haridas Thakur, Mahaprabhu. His two eyes of Haridas Thakur are fixed on the beautiful face of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like bumblebees, taking nectar. So like that, two bumblebees on his lotus face, just like the bumblebees are drinking nectar from the lotus flower. Similarly, Haridas Thakur's two eyes are fixed on the beautiful lotus face of the Lord. And he held his lotus feet on his head. And then he took the dust of all the devotees present there and he put it on his head. Just imagine, the hair is considered to be the topmost part of our body, right? The hair is the topmost part. There is nothing above that. And if we take the dust is considered to be below the feet. That means to the lowermost part of the body. So if someone is taking the lowermost, something which is below the lowermost part of the body, and putting it on the topmost part of the body, that means how much value one gives to that. And it means taking the dust of a devotee on the head means, I am your servant eternally, and you are my master, and you can do anything. You can do anything with me. I am just your servant. And what Haridas Thakur is doing is this. Sometimes we may also go and touch many devotees' feet to get blessings. But yes, we will get blessings. But it is the intention which matters. According to that consciousness, one's blessings also increases. If you're just going and touching, okay, I just want some blessing. Okay, some blessing is given. But if someone thinks, I am actually taking this dust of the Vaishnava so that I can, I get purified, I give up all these demonic qualities, I can develop some love for Krishna, and I'm actually a servant. And when in that mood, one takes the dust of a Vaishnava and puts on his head, his life becomes glorious. Actually, even his, own spiritual life, all the obstacles gets removed. And one actually makes such a rapid advancement in his spiritual life. That's the power of the dust from the lotus feet of Vaishnavas taken in the proper spirit. And here Haridas Thakur is doing that. And after that, he's calling out, he chanted the holy name. And also he called out Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name repeatedly. And then while chanting and looking at the beautiful face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur left the world. This is a glorious passing of Haridas Thakur. And when everyone saw, his mouth chanting, his eyes fixed on seeing the beautiful form of the Lord is literally in front of him. What glorious passing is this? So everyone became so ecstatic and they were rolling on the ground, chanting and dancing, and everyone calling out, Hari, Krishna, everyone is calling out, and Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed in ecstatic love. And Lord Chaitanya personally carried, I will show this, this thing you can see here. Just give a moment. You have, with this picture speaks a lot. Sorry, just a moment. Can you see this? Can you see?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji, yeah.
So we can see here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is personally carrying the body of Haridas Thakur, and then he is actually dancing, in ecstasy. And all the devotees are also dancing and they are chanting, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced for some time. And then Swarup Damodar Goswami is coming and reminding him, oh, my dear Lord, there are other rituals to be performed. Then, Haridas Thakur's body was put on a carrier, and he was taken to the sea, with Kirtana. You can see the ecstasy of Mahaprabhu here. And he was put in a carrier and he was taken, to the sea with Kirtan. And Mahaprabhu chanted in the front of the procession. And Vakreshwar Pandit and all other associates, they followed him. They also chanted and danced. And then the Lord took the body of Haridas Thakur and bathed in the sea. We can see here, personally, the Lord is putting his body on his lap and then, bathing the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. Generally, in the material world, when we see that someone has left the body and when that body is washed, no one actually takes the water and drinks. But here, we see that Haridas Thakur's body, when it was washed, because he stands under, he's a pure devotee of the Lord, everyone took that water and they drank. And they smeared the chandana, prasadam chandan over their body. So in that way, everyone was so ecstatic and drinking that water washed from the feet of Haridas Thakur. So Mahaprabhu declared that hereafter this sea, where Haridas Thakur's body was bathed, the sea has become a great pilgrimage. That's why Puri, when we go Jagannath Puri beach, the beach side, the Puri sea, that we have to take bath in that sea, because Haridas Thakur's body was washed, bathed in that particular sea. So that is why it is a holy tirtha. So whenever we go there, we should try to take a bath there. If not, at least sprinkle some water, over our head. Then hole was dug and Haridas Thakur's body was kept inside. And Mahaprabhu is putting the sand, chanting the holy name. And then also the devotees covered the body with sand and they made a platform. So in that way, then after that, the Samadhi, everyone went around. We can, even now when we go to Jagannath Puri, we can see Haridas Thakur's Samadhi. Such an amazing and vibrant place. We can actually feel that vibration there. Anyone goes, says that. And then, so everyone were dancing and singing. And then finally, Mahaprabhu, what he did, he went to the Simhadwara gate, the lion gate of Jagannath temple. And then, there are many shopkeepers who have kept the prasadam. And then he asked them to give prasadam to celebrate the festival of passing of Haridas Thakur. So everyone gave prasadam, and then Mahaprabhu collected all that, and then Swarup Damodar Goswami sent more associates to bring more prasadam. And then Mahaprabhu made all the devotees to sit in a row. And he personally served prasadam to all the devotees. And each devotee was given 5 times of what they could eat. So in that way, he was personally serving, the prasadam to all the devotees. And then Mahaprabhu was glorified Haridas Thakur. And he said that Krishna was so merciful, he gave me Haridas Thakur's association. Who is telling that? Mahaprabhu is telling. But now the Lord has decided to take him away from me. Now I am bereft of his association. So then he says that Haridas Thakur is a crown jewel of all the devotees. Now the world has lost a valuable jewel. And then everyone said Jai, and Mahaprabhu says Haridas Thakur ki Jai. And we see in our Premadhvani prayers also daily, we say Haridas, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. In that way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to dance, and everyone chanted all glories to Haridas Thakur, who revealed the importance of chanting the Lord's holy name. So this is the glorious passing of Haridas Thakur, and how Mahaprabhu personally did the entire ceremony. What and all he did. First, Mahaprabhu gave him the opportunity to just sit near him when he wanted to leave. Everyone remembered Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma Dev have this, he had this Ichha Mrityu. He had this choice. When he wanted to leave the body, he could leave it. And everyone remembered, because Haridas Thakur also desired that I want to leave at this particular time and I want to see Mahaprabhu like this. And exactly the same way he left the world. Not everyone could do that. So Mahaprabhu gave him his association. Mahaprabhu, put him on his lap, and then he could, see his beautiful face. Haridas Thakur could see his beautiful face, chant a holy name, and then he left the body like that. And then after that also, Mahaprabhu personally took his body and danced, and he bathed his body, and then he did all the final rituals. And he also said, absorbed a festival in his glorious passing away, by distributing prasadam personally with his lotus hands. This is the way he showed his love, for Haridas Thakur. So the Haridas Thakur is not only, he is a topmost devotee and also a great learned scholar, very humble. So we see that in Haridas Thakur's pastime, we all can pray to Haridas Thakur for so many things. Because a pure devotee's life, it's like an open book where we can actually derive so many confidential, open secrets. We can understand, and then we can, valuable lessons we can learn in our own life. And many, many practical things, which we can also, try to apply. So if we want to develop a taste for holy name, we are facing many obstacles in chanting the holy name. What we have to do? We have to pray to Haridas Thakur. By praying to Haridas Thakur, the obstacles gets removed. And then also the instruction, we saw that Haridas Thakur, he was very determined to chant the fixed number of rounds. So we can pray to Haridas Thakur so that we can become steady, we can become determined in completing our fixed number of rounds. And also the quality, chanting loudly. I know Haridas Thakur also mentioned in another place that chanting Hare Krishna mantra loudly is 100 times more, is a blessing than chanting silently. You know why? Because one is, of course, we can hear and we can get benefited and we can get blessed. Plus also there are so many living entities. They get benefited by hearing the holy name if we chant loudly. So that is 100 times, one gets the effect when we chant loudly. So we can offer prayers to Haridas Thakur for that blessing, so that we are actually able to chant and hear the holy name, because hearing only purifies completely. So we can become more attentive in our chanting. We can chant loudly and give the benefit to others also. And then also we become steady, in chanting the holy name, develop a taste. In another place, Mahaprabhu, in Haridas Thakur's pastime itself, we see that what happens, when he was chanting the holy name, the Nawab Hussain Shah became very, then what happened was that he was put behind the bars, and so that, not everyone gets converted, to chanting the holy name. But then he was also beaten up in the marketplaces. 22 marketplaces he was beaten up. But then he said, that even though you may cut my body into so many thousands of pieces, but every part of my body will not be able to stop chanting the holy name. You may do whatever, cut me to pieces, but I cannot stop chanting the holy name. That is Haridas Thakur. So in our life, when small problems, small challenges comes, it actually disturbs, because that's the state. As a practitioner, that is a energy, that is the spiritual strength we have got. So what happens, even small things disturbs us so much. And the first thing we feel difficult to do is the chanting. Oh, today I got upset. Today something has happened. Even if we chant also, it's just finish it off, because I'm not in a good mood. But here we see Haridas Thakur, a personality who was tested so many times, but was so determined in chanting the holy name. So praying to, we can pray to him that we can cross over all the obstacles, in our life when it comes to chanting. And then also we become steady and determined to do quality chanting. So we can pray to Haridas Thakur. And also our chanting can become from a mechanical chanting to offenseless chanting and pure chanting, Shuddhanam. When we can develop, when we will be able to chant the pure holy name. The holy name is pure, but we are not able to chant purely because we are making so many offenses, aparadas. So we can beg Haridas Thakur that when the day will come, I will be able to chant offensively. That's the next stage, offenseless chanting. Then when one goes to that, goes beyond the clearance stage, which is the offenseless stage, then one will be able to chant the holy name purely, Shuddhanam. And when we chant Shuddhanam, that is spontaneous. That's where the pure holy name. So we all are looking for that day. So we offer prayers to Haridas Thakur. When we offer prayers to the pure devotee, Krishna becomes pleased, isn't it? So we can pray to Haridas Thakur and remember Haridas Thakur's pastimes constantly. It will give us a lot of strength. Personally speaking, also recently some kind of challenge came, and then as a community as a whole, something came up, and then we were thinking how to deal that problem. But as ordinary people practicing devotional service, of course, the default mode is not very devotional. But when we think of all these great personalities, then immediately we actually take a step back. Come on, what am I doing? I need to deal it in a very Vaishnava way. And sure, the Lord will shower mercy. And when we do it, we see the result comes, the Lord reciprocates. So that is why it's important to hear the pastimes of pure devotees. When we constantly hear, when we want to do something in a non-Vaishnava way, immediately we will Krishna will give us a remembrance. Hey, what are you doing? But if we have not heard any of these pastimes, we have not read any of these pastimes, then we think whatever I am doing is right and we will go. So it's very important we have role models. We are nowhere there and we cannot imitate also. And imitating, we need to know what is standard expected, where the desired goal we should know. And of course, we know where we stand. But then we are aspiring and making an effort towards reaching that goal. And especially chanting of the holy name, we have to catch hold of the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur and beg. So that we can, that's why you see that when the Kirtan Melas and all is happening, they keep a Murti of Haridas Thakur. He's a Namacharya. Without his mercy, what is the hope and scope for growing, developing taste for holy name? No way. No way. So it's so important. Haridas Thakur is a great personality. His pastimes we need to constantly hear, which will actually help us in even handling our day-to-day life. Just by remembering him, our anger will go off. I've seen few times, certain things comes to the mind. Just by remembering his pastimes, I feel very ashamed. My God, what am I thinking? Forget it. Go ahead. So that much strength it can give. That's the power of hearing the pure devotees. So, and not only that, holy name, and also how to honor prasadam. We saw that. Prasadam is not just a food just to taste and go, but every time when we are now going to see prasadam in front of our table, we need to remember Haridas Thakur, the way he honored the prasad. So this is another thing which we can beg and pray that I should honor the remnants, what am I getting? Many people are not able to get prasadam. We are so fortunate and blessed to get this prasadam of the Lord. But sometimes, familiarity, say like we keep getting it, then we may not value. So, and also how pride and envy never enters the heart of a pure devotee. And as a sadhaka, we see that we are constantly disturbed by this element of pride and envy. Little thing, when we do, we feel, wow, I have done it. Even we don't verbalize it. Internally, we feel, yes, I have done it. And if someone else appreciates somebody else, we think, why is appreciating that person? Actually, I did everything. Internally, that call comes. How much pride is sitting in the heart. And we see here the pure devotees, not even a fraction of a second they have pride in the heart. Not even a fraction of a second. So hearing this pure devotees, hearing their pastimes, begging to them, praying to them, and making a constant effort also to get rid of this anarthas, one day we can actually come out of this anartha, the pride and envy. We can't stand. Someone is given a position and then other person thinks, oh, why I'm not? I'm qualified equally. Why I'm not the leader? Why I'm not that? So constantly internally the craving and hankering for fame and position is there in the conditioned soul. That's why repeatedly we are taking birth again and again because of this constant hankering of lording it over the material nature. The envy. We envied Krishna in the spiritual world. So Krishna said, oh, here envy doesn't exist. Please go down. And we envy every single person in the world. Same mistake. Unless we give up this envy, we are not qualified to go back to the spiritual world. This is the last one. If we have not given up, how do we even enter the spiritual world? No chance. So that means, do we have a hope to go back to the spiritual world? It is not the number of kirtans we have done, number of lectures we have done, number of books. Yes, this all helps to purify ourselves. But if we have not got rid of this anartha, then there is no entry. So if you are not aware that actually I'm doing all these things so that these demonic qualities will disappear from my heart and I can develop some attraction for Krishna. If you are not doing our service in that consciousness, our hope is less. The hope is less because we are running after externals again for name, fame, and glory. The mind is tricking us. Okay, materially I'm not doing, but spiritually I will now show my power. So that means again same pride, arrogance, envy, It is a spiritualized version. So if we really think about all this, we feel that, oh my God, where do we stand? But we don't have to become hopeless because Srila Prabhupada has given this amazing formulas, whatever previous acharyas have given. And all this pure devotee's life is to give us the strength. We have a hope because we have Srila Prabhupada, we have all these acharyas, and taking shelter of their lotus feet and making a sincere attempt, sure, we have a chance to go back to Godhead. Prabhupada once said, Prabhupada said, if you follow all this 100%, then you can go back to spiritual world. Then all the devotees became very morose. Oh my God, 100%, how is it possible? Then Prabhupada said 90%. Yes, 90% also, no chance. Then Prabhupada said 80%, then he said 70% also if you do. You can go back to spiritual world. Basically, if you make a sincere attempt, no duplicity, sincere attempt to get rid of our anarthas and to develop spontaneous love for Krishna. And if in every devotional service we do, we are conscious of that. And in that consciousness, if we make an effort, if we fail, we again do, we fail, we do. 100 times I'm failing, no problem. I'm not giving up, my Lord. I want to try. I want to try and I want your mercy. And Krishna sees that. Then he just lifts us up. That's it. So that's the only thing we can do. Keep making effort with sincerity, with no duplicity. And then surely the, bright future awaits. So, Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I end with this last one. Kaviraj Goswami says, the life and characteristics of Lord Chaitanya are like an ocean of nectar, one drop of which can please the mind and ears. It is an ocean. One drop is sufficient to please the ears and the mind also. Anyone who desires to cross over the ocean of nuisance, please faithfully hear the life and characteristics of Lord Chaitanya. That's why we have to constantly hear Chaitanya Leela. By hearing that, we will be able to come out of all these anarthas and also develop, that attraction for Mahaprabhu and his associates. And that is a great hope. Yes. So, yeah. Srila Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, we can't stop this pastime. It is so amazing. Yes. Yeah, Prabhu, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji, for wonderful session. So I'll share my screen now. Hope we can see hope you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah. So Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining today. So as we do for each class, if you can put some takeaway points, and I'll go to the announcement section and come back, and we can share whatever points and takeaway which you have mentioned in our comment box, and I can read it out for all the pleasure of the devotees who are available here. Yeah, so I'll go for the announcement section here. So like we have some list of festivals or Madhav Tithis are coming the next week. So 10th October we have Durga Puja, and 12th October we have like Ram Chandra Vijay also, like we say Dasahara as well, and the same days like appearance of Sri Madhavacharya. 13th October is Pashanukusha Ekadashi, that is recommended fasting from the grains, and on 14th of October, like disappearance of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and disappearance of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So these are like some disappearances are there. And parallelly, like after next week, Kartik month will be starting. So those section I will put over here. So yeah. So these are some announcement, Mataji, for the last week.
Okay.
You want to add, Mananti, anything?
Yeah, just wanted to say that next week, we see that 14th of October is disappearance of Srila Hari Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Every Monday we are trying to, here Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita is Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And exactly this time is coming on a Monday. So we really want to glorify, we want to hear and glorify Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So we request everyone to be present for the 14th session. And also we will be talking about an amazing, another chapter 12, where we see how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed great mercy upon Sivananda Sena. Amazing pastime. And also the love of Jagadananda Pandit. So it's another amazing chapter. And also we will hear glorification of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and also the Kartik Purnima, the Kartik month glories, because 17th Kartik month starts and 14th is our CC session before that. So we will be also hearing some special pastimes and also some importance. So please, next session, 14th is a very important session. So kindly join. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for adding. I'll just read out some of the devotees who have mentioned beautiful points. So Vijay Lakshmi Mataji has mentioned like Haridas Thakur is also called as a Namacharya, not chanting regular number of rounds considered as a diseased state, and pure devotees unconditionally love the Lord. Pure devotees have zero ego. What a glorious way of leaving the body by fixing eyes on Lord and uttering the names of the Lord. Haridas Thakur was a crown jewel among the devotees of Mahaprabhu, and prasad is not to be eaten by but honored. Thank you so much, Mataji, Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, for so many wonderful points. Abhishek and family, I think Vandana Mataji has mentioned some of the points. Ego and pride never enters the heart of your devotees for not even a fraction of second. We should beg and pray to Haidas Thakur and pure devotees for getting rid of anarthas. Unless we give up the envy, we cannot enter the spiritual world. We don't have any hope if we don't get rid of our anarthas and getting rid of our demonic qualities. And other point Matis mentioned, not able to chant our number of prescribed chanting is a disease. So thank you so much, Vanda Matis, for beautifully covering all the aspect from the today's session and putting in the paragraph from it. Thank you so much, Mataji. Ripa Mataji has mentioned like first time thinking about my spiritual health condition and get prescribed medicine as well as one is mu- one is must chant our fixed round and others chant loudly. What a describe of Haridas Thakur when passing the body, really heart touching, like he want to put Chaitanya lotus feet in his heart, face in his eyes, and holy name in his tongue. After all, Haridas Thakur ki jai. Thank you so much, Ripa Mataji. I think you brought the points from all the devotees from the heart and so beautifully you have put. It has been said like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as a doctor and he came as a patient as well. So he's playing both the roles and through the devotee source. Thank you so much, Ripa Mataji. Lakshmi Prabhu has mentioned like today is Vivan birthday and Harshal Prabhu Manisha Mataji's birthday. So we'll chant Prabhu. Once I'll finish this, maybe we can chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for them.
Sure, Prabhu.
Our hope to Aditi Mataji mentioned our hope to go back to Godhead is less if we don't know that we are doing devotional service is to purify ourselves and develop love for Krishna. Thank you so much, Aditi Mataji. Kartik Prabhu has mentioned sincere effort in service to the Lord and no duplicity could take one towards his lotus feet. Thank you so much, Kartik Prabhu, for putting so wonderful point. Aditi Mataji mentioned like praying to Haridas Thakur can remove all the obstacle in the path of Krishna consciousness. Haribol. Kartik Prabhu mentioned one who hear the pastime of living Haridas Thakur certainly fixed mind in devotional service. Haribol. Samila Mata is mentioned we must pray to Haridas Thakur Prabhu while chanting due to possible offenses made. Haribol. Thank you so much. It was so beautiful to read it. Okay, some more points has come up. So Varshna Mataji has mentioned if one glorifies Acharya, they are blessed with unlimited mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We should make sure we chant our regular number of rounds every single day and should be chanted loud enough so we can hear the holy names. That was the first point. And envious person does not get entry in the spiritual world. We should make sure we get rid of all anarthas. We should appreciate Lord mercy through their Mahaprasad. Thank you so much, Varshna Mataji, for putting such a beautiful point, Mataji. Aruna Mataji mentioned like Mahaprasad is none other than Lord Krishna himself. And second point is great devotees like Haridas Thakur shows the importance of fixing number of rounds and chanting loudly. So being sadhaka, we all should follow the important instruction. Thank you so much, Aruna Mataji. And loudly chanting is 100 times better. So thank you, Aditi Mataji. So beautiful point. Thank you all the devotees, those who have come forward and put such a brilliant point. It helps a lot for all the devotees who are available. Yes, so today's birthday of Vivan, this Harshal Prabhu and Manisha Mataji son. Okay, so
Hare Krishna,
they
Prabhu.
are here, Mataji. Ah, amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Manisha Mataji and Harshal Prabhu is also here.
Yeah, yeah. You want to add something, Mataji, point, please? Yeah, Harshal Prabhu or anyone like.
Yeah, sure.
It's comparison to
We can pray for him together,
Hare Krishna
whatever you
Prabhu.
suggest. Jai Harshal Prabhu ki jai ho.
प्रभु मेरी क्या जय है भगवान की
Your
गौरव
all
विचार
services, all as a family, you are doing all of lot of services, bro. Whole family ki jai ho. I will not leave Mataji if Mataji will be back. And Vivan ji ki jai ho.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Mataji.
We will sing Hare Krishna for him.
Oh,
Yes?
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Vivan, okay. Yes. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to dear Vivan. Hare Krishna to you. May Krishna bless you, dear.
Dear,
May Krishna bless
Krishna
you,
bless you,
dear.
dear.
May
May
Krishna bless
Krishna
you,
bless
dear.
you, dear.
Hare Krishna to
To
you.
you.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram.
Ram Hare Hare.
Hari Bol, oh, cake is also there.
We would like to see the cake,
Yeah.
Mataji. Cake is not coming.
We are not able to see the cake, please.
Come on, use your hand. It's a small.
Small, oh, okay, that's why. But still, prasad.
Last minute.
Last minute, okay, not to worry. He's getting the blessings of all the devotees. So, shall we all 3 times chant Hare Krishna for Vivan? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
How old is he now?
Age now 15.
15, okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna conscious birthday to you, Vivan. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
A pleasure. Very nice. He got all the blessings. Wonderful. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Hari
Thank
Bol.
you. And,
Krishna.
and Mataji, looks like Sadhvi Mataji birthday is also 11. So can we chant one more time one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra?
Ah,
I
when?
just got one message. 11th of October. Karthik just